In this video, I used charcoal to create a 3D drawing of a coffee mug. As you can see, I'm starting with the light charcoal and just planning out my the shape of the coffee mug, and just lightly pressing and just sketching it. If you make a couple of mistakes or the lines aren't quite where you want them to be, it doesn't really matter because we can go over them and with the shading afterwards. Here I'm starting now to add the handle, so it starts at the bottom. I'm looking at my object carefully to see where things are and how big they are in relation to each other. And I'm just drawing some light lines just to sort of map it in before I start adding the shading on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add shading. I'm going to pretend that there's the table line runs through here, and then my light source is coming from this way, so all the dark side is going to be on here. Let me show you how to put the shading on. So I'm going to go this way because it's a round cup, and I'm going to just use pressure to press pretty hard to put on some dark shading. So remember last week it was pressure and pencil, so I'm using charcoal. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this stick. And what this does is it smudges it out, and I am smudging it. I'm smudging it out to make it go from dark to light. Now I'm just slightly going to smudge over that little bit too, and I can also use it to draw with because it's already got some charcoal on there, so I'm just going to put a little bit in there. And the rim is really light. Now this is the dark piece of charcoal and it's really black, so I'm going to add some really dark bits and some darker lines because there's actually some ridges or line work on there, so I'm just bringing it around like so, and I might even just give it a bit of a sketchy sort of outline. Now it's going to be dark in here, leaving the white rim. I'm going to use some of that charcoal, and then I'm going to swap over to this charcoal, and then I'm going to use the smudge stick to smudge it a bit. And what I'm going to do next is the shadow is going to come down here, and it's going to be shadow on the ground. So I'm going to bring this around, shade this up. You may or may not be able to see that on the screen. Hopefully you can. Smudging is kind of nice with charcoal, but I like it better with charcoal than lead pencil. And the last few things I'm going to do is put a little bit of darkness up there. Just put it like so, and then a little bit in behind here. This is where the table met the wall, so I'm just separating the table and wall line. You can see I'm working really fast. Charcoal is good for really loose, free drawing. It's not for really small, tight drawing. So you can be a little bit more sort of free with how you go about it. And you get the idea of how charcoal works. Now with this part, I'm going to put some dark line around there, some darker edge in there, and putting a bit of shading on my handle, bit in there, put a bit of a line up and around there, and there we have our little our cup shaded.